What is good, everyone? I am Brandon, and this is The Common Critic. I'm here with...
I'm Cody.
I'm Dallas.
And man, we're talking about Season 2 of The Mandalorian for all you Star Wars fans out there. We're talking about Pedro Pascal again.
Yes.
2 weeks in a row. So, might I suggest something? The Max Lordian, maybe?
Boo.
Terrible.
That's a terrible joke.
But
So
yeah,
bad.
I'm still laughing, but that was terrible.
I couldn't resist. I've recently become a father, so the dad jokes just flow naturally to me now. But we talked about last week, we gave a bit of a preview into The Mandalorian, and we said we have a great diversity here in that we have a lot of different levels of Star Wars fans. Dallas, you being kind of at the bottom of the totem pole there.
Definitely have watched them the least out of you guys. If not, I mean, I've probably only watched half of them just the one time.
Even though you've seen Empire Strikes Back in theaters, which
you
I think that makes you a liar. I think you're a huge Star Wars fan. Yeah,
that's true. Well, Brandon invited me to it, and you can't say no to it. It is a classic movie. I like the original three obviously better. So
what was disappointing is, I don't know if you guys know, George Lucas has his updated versions of the original trilogy, which aren't as good as the original trilogy.
Really?
Yeah.
I haven't heard that.
Oh, you didn't know? In the 90s, he went back and remastered the original trilogy because he was all like, oh, now there's CGI and I could do stuff that I actually wanted to do.
I see what you're saying. Yeah. I got you. Sorry.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
100%.
But it's not as good.
No.
No, you want the original
stuff.
stuff.
Yes. The CGI is terrible.
What's not horrible CGI is The Mandalorian Season 2, in fact. Have you guys noticed that? The budget must have just grown exponentially in between these two seasons.
Right off the get-go. First episode.
Immediately.
They did an IMAX full-on scene. It was great.
it's great. Everything about the picture and the CGI and everything on this season is amazing.
There's a lot of episodes I'd describe as cinematic because they definitely feel... You said IMAX.
Yeah.
It feels IMAX.
They did. They filmed that one scene in IMAX with... I can't think of the creature's name right now.
Oh, it's the Kraith Dragon?
I just call it Tremors 2.0.
Tremors on steroids.
I was really hoping Kevin Bacon would show up.
What if Kevin Bacon played Cobb Vanth?
I thought about that, dude. I would have been very happy about that.
You know who plays a Cobb Vanth? Is the guy from The Office, Danny Cordray. I heard he used to date Pam.
Oh, yeah. Timothy, I can't think of his last name.
No, it's Timothy something. Yeah. Well, let's get into it, man. We're already talking about the first episode, dude, which essentially has the
Oliphant. Sorry.
Oliphant. No, you're right. You're right.
Not to get confused with Josh. Is it Josh Duhamel?
Yeah,
Josh Duhamel.
They look very similar. I'm with you on that one.
That's a compliment, both. If anyone were to say, which I don't look like any of them, but if I were to be described as one, I would feel very flattered.
Yes, there's a reason we're on the radio.
Oh yeah, we definitely have. Well, I don't even have the okay, yeah.
Except for Dallas.
Yeah, Dallas is very handsome. And he's single, ladies.
Thank you, yes.
This first episode, I think, really serves maybe just one big purpose, and that's to reintroduce you to Mando and show you, dude, he's hardcore. He's legit. He's the real deal, man. Like, you shouldn't feel stressed when he's in a dire situation, but like you do. But he always gets out of it. No,
for sure. I 100% agree. The first episode really brought me in because the first season for me, kind of a recap, didn't really draw me in as much as I was hoping it would. But season 2, as we get into it, you'll understand that it became apparent to me I'm more of a Star Wars fan now because of The Mandalorian Season 2 than I was before watching Season 2.
What about you, Dallas? You watched them back to back.
Oh yeah, I binge watched them, and honestly, I liked him better I thought he was a little more hardcore in the first season. In the second season, it seemed like he needed a little more help to get out of a lot of his situations.
That's fair.
It wasn't a knock on him. It just seemed like they made it so that other people had to help him to get out of a lot more situations.
They added a lot of characters, which I think, if I had to knock anything, which I'm not going to knock this season hardly at all, but yeah, they fit in a lot of characters and they made it feel very episodic. It felt like a video game for the most part. You do all these side missions on your way to the main quest, which is getting Baby Yoda, which we're going to call him Baby Yoda for now. We'll get into that.
That sounds good.
That's what it seemed like to me, is that Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni just got together with their action figures, and they're like, and now Boba Fett shows up, and
Really cool. Ahsoka just comes in,
and saves the day,
Which dude called Jon Favreau and Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni the cleanup crew. Man, they are cleaning up everything that Star Wars at Disney makes a mess of, or George Lucas, because you think the prequels weren't super loved until Dave Filoni came in with the Clone Wars TV series. Everyone loves that. Now you got the sequel movies, which the more I think about it, the more I dislike those movies. But The Mandalorian is bringing me back into Star Wars hard, man. They're doing a lot of redeeming.
Because I haven't watched them as much. It did, when they would reference something, I'm like, okay, I remember that, but I don't exactly remember which movie or episode that was in. Like, it made me want to go back and rewatch a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And they drew you into it. They drew you into the characters and everything going on in the whole universe a lot better. Mm-hmm. It seemed like.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And this first episode was actually directed by Jon Favreau, and he's a big Westerns fan. And I noticed that, like, right off the bat when I was watching this first episode. I'm like, this feels like an old, like, 60s, 70s Western, spaghetti Western type feel, man.
Samurai, yeah.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with that.
No, so it's credit to them for doing this, and if there's gonna be any knock, it's part of the journey, man. We're going through this new Star Wars galaxy, and so we have that first episode, and that also sets up Boba Fett, who's in it at the very last second. Which some people I watched it with were like, "Who's that guy?"
Yeah,
it's Tamara Morrison, man.
That's what I did. Not being a big Star Wars fan like you, I was like, "Who is that?" Like, I kind of recognized him. But I did that a lot with this season. So like I said, it brought me, and what Dallas was saying, it made me look up characters and try to get back into learning more about them.
What do you guys think of this? I don't know her name. She's the one who fixes Mando's ship with all the little droids. I think she's so annoying. Actually, if I were to give a knock, I would be like, get rid of that.
You don't like her?
Do you like her?
I kind of like her. I mean, she's just...
She takes me out of it.
She takes care of Mando and Baby Yoda. That's her job. She's kind of like his caretaker for that season. Like in the first one, in that little village, he had that young widowed mom or whatever to kind of be his caretaker and Baby Yoda's caretaker. She was kind of the caretaker in this one.
So you're saying she plays the purpose of an extra character to help Baby Yoda,
to kind of help him along on the journey. That's really all. But I didn't hate her like you seem.
I don't know if I'd use hate, but I strongly dislike.
She was forgettable for me because I had no. I forgot until you guys brought her up. So.
Well, let me ask you, how forgettable is? And I think she's literally called Frog Lady.
Oh my gosh, she was the worst character on this whole thing for me.
I didn't. Okay, now I'm the opposite of you guys.
No, 100% Frog Lady was the worst.
Yeah, 100%. I really wish Baby Yoda ate all her eggs.
Oh, come on, man. They got a lot of heat for that, man.
I know. I don't understand why.
Well, because that's like the last of her kind. People were saying Baby Yoda's like a genocidal maniac or something, dude.
He's just hungry. That's on Mando. He needs to feed.
He should have been paying attention to him more. Yeah. I'll give him that. But this episode, when the New Republic comes out, which I like the feel of the New Republic, right? You kind of bring it back a little bit more in the later episodes when Cara Dune becomes a marshal for all that. I'm digging the vibe of the New Republic and how they're working to kind of clean up the Empire, right? And we get to be introduced to that because there's going to be a new series on the New Republic, and this is when they're really first introduced.
Yeah. There's going to be a lot of new series, apparently. I feel like there's like 82 coming out. It just seems like left and right, just new series and new series. But yeah, the one you're talking about, I agree with you that it's going to be good that they're cleaning up the Empire for sure. The
mess, yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. And like I said, we don't have to spend a lot of time on this episode because who cares? I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a fun chase scene, right? I mean... I thought actually I should say this. There were like 8 times where I thought the Razor Crest, his ship, was just done for, and I was like, man, second episode and his ship's just gone.
Wasn't that kind of the theme of this whole season? His ship just seemed to be hanging on by a thread the entire time.
I know, and then he finally kind of gets it all like back together, and it's just. We'll talk about that later because that episode's called The Tragedy, and I would argue what's the bigger tragedy in that episode: Baby Yoda being kidnapped or the Razor Crest being completely. We'll get to it in segment 3, but that's my favorite episode in the series.
It's up there for me in this season for sure.
But by some miracle, he's saved by the New Republic from giant space ice spiders or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm down. We're expanding the Star Wars universe, man. Throw whatever you want at me. I don't care what it is.
Did that scene not kind of feel like the Harry Potter, like the Ron
100%.
Weasley running? That's all I could think of when I was just like, oh, spiders.
That they just took it straight from the...
It almost felt like it, exactly.
I wonder if there's a side-by-side comparison that... If you were to see that scene, that'd, you know, like the Harry Potter scene, that one, that'd be like the same thing. Because now that you bring that up...
Because they jump in the ship, in Harry Potter they jump in the car. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. So we'll get into, I think we're going over episodes 3 to 4 for the next segment. And yeah, we're excited talking The Mandalorian. This is The Common Critic on the Fed by Ravens Media Network. What is good, everyone? We are back. This is The Common Critic, still talking season 2 of The Mandalorian out on Disney+. We're going to be going through episodes 3 through 5. This is when Bo-Katan comes in. Bo-Katan, whatever you want to say. I've heard it both ways. It's Bo-Katan, though. Yeah. I'm pretty sure. She is a character from the Clone Wars series, played by the same actress. What's her name? I forgot.
Katie Sackhoff?
Yeah, there we go.
Or Kristen Stewart.
Yeah, Kristen Stewart.
To those who were present for our last episode, I couldn't stop saying Kristen Stewart. So, but yeah, Katie Sackhoff.
Yeah, if you're a fan of the Clone Wars series, this is super cool because she plays the same character. So, like, the voice, the look, everything brings it cool. Former ruler of Mandalore, former owner of the Darksaber. And Dallas, you were talking earlier, from essentially this episode on, everything is just so much fun.
Every episode from here on out, it's just, you're so intrigued by everything that's going on. There's not a dull moment. You're just having fun while watching all of these episodes.
And it's not even moving the whole season forward.
No, it's just like, she just, you know, when she saves Baby Yoda and she just drops in, that's just, all of a sudden, it comes out of nowhere, honestly.
It scared me. It was like a jump scare.
When he knocks Baby Yoda into that pit, and I'm like, what is going on? And Mando's drowning, and then, boom, Mandalorians show up, and they save the day, and it's, wow. It's
a different kind of Mandalorian, I think, right?
Yeah, there's all sorts of different kinds. The joke is that a Mandalorian is enemies with everyone, including the Mandalorians, right? There's the Mandalorian Civil War. It's like the Jedis are the sworn enemy of the Mandalorians, but the Empire and the Republic and the Mandalorians and everyone just... So, yeah, there's all sorts of different factions and whatnot you want to call them and whatever. She was the ruler. She's the one who owned the Darksaber, which we'll get into, because that's actually a really big deal, and I'm sure that's what season 3 is going to play into.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
A little bit. Yeah, we'll get into it in the last segment when we talk about that incredible last episode.
Yeah, yes.
Wait till the end, everyone. It's going to be great.
I know, if there's a reason to watch our show with...
Did we say spoiler alert?
No, we didn't, but people should know. And if you haven't watched The Mandalorian Season 2 by now, come on. What are you doing? And I'm looking at you, Dallas, because I had to force you to watch it this week.
You didn't have to force me to watch it. I was just a little behind, you know? I hadn't resubscribed on my Disney Plus for a little while.
Too busy watching Entourage on HBO Max.
100%.
Or Goodfellas.
Or Goodfellas. Just that's all I watch are those.
Just have it on repeat. You fall asleep to Goodfellas at night.
Every single night. Why do you think I'm so messed up?
Yeah, so the next episode after this one, which I was so happy Bo-Katan was introduced, is the episode directed by Carl Weathers.
Ah, yes. Love Carl Weathers.
Love him.
Yeah.
So great.
Did a great job directing. Now, this, again, we said just episodic.
We're living in a world where Carl Weathers directed a Star Wars.
Incredible.
Isn't that crazy?
No, it is.
It's crazy to me. It's fantastic, and I love it.
I know. I wonder if... there's going to be a boxing match, and
I was waiting for it. Well, they went inside the Imperial.
I bring that up. That's why, because I'm like, oh man, is there going to be some sort of Rocky Apollo Creed throwback?
I was going to say, when does Sly show up?
Yeah.
I mean, he was in Guardians of the Galaxy too. Might as well.
Cut me, Mick. Cut me. Just in the corner.
So with this episode, we are introduced to, I guess, Moff Gideon's science lab or something. I don't want to quite call it First Order yet, even though that's what I think they're hinting at, because you see that kind of cloning lab. You guys catch that?
Yeah.
Is that Snoke?
That's what I thought. A bunch of Snokes. That's what it looked like to me.
That's what I would assume.
Because if you go to the
Rise of Skywalker,
there's a bunch of Snokes sitting there as he's making his way to come to find out, Palpatine.
So would that then suggest that Moff Gideon is responsible for the First Order? I mean, they say later in the series the Empire isn't dead, the Empire's back, it's still around.
Yeah, that's true. It's very possible. I never thought of it that way, but we know he's definitely responsible for the dark droids. What are they called?
The Dark Troopers.
The Dark Troopers,
the
yes.
new ones.
Yeah.
Those ones are scary, man.
I was very impressed with those, but leave it to Jon Favreau to make an Iron Legion, right?
Yeah, and true. They even had some Iron Man callbacks in that episode we'll talk about.
Oh, wait.
Dallas, you were looking at me. I thought you had
I was just agreeing with you.
Dallas is very excited, being the biggest Star Wars fan.
I'm just such a huge Star Wars fan.
After seeing Empire Strikes Back in theaters, he is the biggest one.
Just sitting here watching you two nerd out over it, I'm just kind of like, all right, this is cool. Yeah,
you're just vibing in the corner,
man. Yeah, this is some good information. Because honestly, there was, not being the hugest Star Wars fans, there are a lot of callbacks to other things that you're just kind of like, okay, I don't fully understand what's going on. But they also don't make it so that if you're not a Star Wars fan, you're completely confused as to what's going on.
You're not alone. I was kind of in that same boat.
Yeah.
Like, I know a little bit more than you, obviously, but nothing compared to what Brandon knows. But that's what I like about The Mandalorian so much, is that he created a world where the biggest Star Wars fan, you know, even though there's a lot of fan service, a lot of Star Wars fans who are really into Star Wars don't like fan service for some reason. I don't understand that.
I'm a big fan of fan service.
Except for you. You're kind of an anomaly. But
True.
But there's people who haven't really watched Star Wars who can watch The Mandalorian and not be lost, I guess you can say.
No, you're right. And I guess that'll bring us into the next episode. Dallas, you really liked this Ahsoka episode. And is it just because Rosario Dawson?
Rosario Dawson is just phenomenal. But again, going back to fun, the episode is fun. You know,
it's got a horror vibe to it. You guys feel that way?
It's dark.
It was beautifully shot.
Yeah.
But then he finds the Jedi by saying he'll go kill her, and then just comes back, and he really doesn't even do much. He says he'll help her, but all he kind of does is just wait until it's one-on-one with her lead guy.
No, you're right. This I would hardly call this an episode of The Mandalorian. This is Ahsoka's episode 100%.
Setting off the spinoff, right?
Yeah, that's true, which I don't think the spinoff wasn't... I mean, if you get someone like Rosario Dawson, you better use her for more than one episode.
Agreed. Yes.
I was very sad that she was only in the one episode.
Well, don't be too sad. They're going to make
I figured, but it was...
Ahsoka.
Yeah.
It's gonna be, I'm excited for it, too.
Of the new series that's coming out, that's probably very top of the list. Probably.
Yeah. That one for sure.
There's one we'll bring up at the end of this episode. Then there's like the Rogue One prequel spinoff. There's the New Republic one. There's a few good ones, but man, Ahsoka really caught my attention. And especially, they announced it after this episode, and you're like, if that's what we get in this series could rival Mandalorian, I think, easily. I think Ahsoka's series could probably do better. Is that too much to say? Am I going?
Well, it's filling some big shoes, for sure.
See, double-edged sword, because I like the spin-off Star Wars stuff better, but Ahsoka's just such a cool character, man.
If you have Rosario Dawson, you're not going to go wrong. So, I mean, it's just going to be great, I think.
A double-edged black saber.
Well, technically, aren't they just 360 edged lightsabers, right? They just go everywhere.
I don't know how the technology works. I'm not going to get into that.
But in this episode, and now we could start referring to him as Grogu. What do you guys think of his name?
Grogu. Yeah. I thought that was really... I like that part where actually Mando says his name and he kind of goes, you know, looks up at him. I thought it was pretty cute. So
when I first heard it, I was like, Grogu? That sounds so childish. Like, I thought I heard my 18-month-old say that just the other day, just like spitting gibberish or whatever. But the more I think about it, the more I really like it, because I think that it's a name built around his personality. You know, his little Baby Yoda personality, dude. Throwing up all the blue macaroons in the back and, you know...
Fish eggs.
Yeah, I was going to say, all the genocide he causes. Grogu's such a fitting name for him.
Yeah. Well, when I first heard it, like, me and my son Stockton, he's going to be 9 years old. He was like, Grogu? We couldn't figure out what they were saying, but we finally figured out it was Grogu. So, I mean, I'm impartial to it. It's fine. It is a name, just like when you name a kid. You know, you don't really know if it's going to be a good name or not, and then they grow up and you're like, okay, that fits them pretty well.
Yeah, but we learn more about his background. So he survived Order 66. So let me ask you, was it a Billy Madison type thing where you know how Billy Madison calls up the nerd to apologize and he crosses his name off the list, and Grogu was like, "Oh, hey, Anakin, I just want to tell you, I think it's real messed up that they didn't make you a Jedi Master. I think it's real messed up." And Anakin goes like, "Hey, thanks, Grogu. By the way, don't show up to the Jedi Temple tomorrow."
Order 66.
Order 66.
That happened.
Because I'm about to, we're not going to get into that because that's also very controversial.
True.
Of it, but like I said, I'm digging everything Star Wars, man.
Yes.
How are you feeling about this? We'll go over ratings at the very end. So this is the Common Critic. We'll get into it, and on the Fed by Ravens Media Network. What is good, everyone? We are back. This is the Common Critic on the Fed by Ravens Media Network. Still going over Mandalorian Season 2. And this is when it really, really starts to get good. Episodes 6 and 7 over here. 6 is actually my favorite when Boba Fett comes back.
And Grogu's just sitting on the rock doing his Jedi thing.
That's a cool visual.
That's fantastic. I loved it. Yeah. And freaking Mando's trying to get to him and keeps getting pushed away. And then
How many times does he try? Like 4 times? Like, come on, man.
Yeah. Maybe you should take a hint. You can't get in there. The Force is strong.
After the second one, you'd think he'd be like, "Yeah, I think I'm good. I'll just wait for you to be done."
Well, that's how important it is to him, though, I guess, right?
Yeah.
That's how important the kid is. That's how important Grogu is to him.
Yeah, and that's an important character point, right? Is like he knows he's going to get thrown back and beaten, but he still is like trying super hard. And I think that really comes out in the next episode we'll talk about. One thing I really like about this one is how cinematic it looks. I've said cinematic before. This just looks so gorgeous. Like, it seriously just looks like a big budget action film. Before we were recording, we were talking about how good Mission Impossible is and stuff. And I'm not saying it's like on par with Mission Impossible, but it has that like level of action and feel and like intensity, right?
Yes, 100%. I agree with that.
Oh yeah, everything. The action in this is so great, and you're just so drawn into just pew pew, just everywhere. I mean, it's so much fun.
Well, I mean, Fennec, Ming-Na Wen's character who played the original Mulan, she does like a 360 no scope off a ledge, man. These are Call of Duty moves, man. We were talking about Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni playing with their action figures before the series. Maybe they were just playing Call of Duty before this, and they're like, "Hey, it'd be sick is to take some of this video game stuff and put it into the next season."
Like, let's just see how crazy of an action scene we can get in this one sequence.
Oh, with Boba Fett, and he uses his saber, not a saber, his, what do you call that? His stick?
It has a name,
it does,
and I forgot it.
Sorry, hardcore Star Wars fans, I can't think of it right now.
He is brutal with that thing. Brutal. He is, when he's just like, the stormtrooper is on the ground, probably close to being as knocked out as possible, and he just, boom, right to the face again, just
smashing their armor,
just
dude.
Smashing everything. It was
a piece of plastic.
I mean, still, dude. I mean, come on.
Stormtroopers. Oh, oy vey. But we won't get into that. That'll take us away from.
You know what's funny is Dallas. You brought up in the last season they joked about how bad they are at shooting, and even in this season, in this episode, they kind of hint how dumb they are when you have the troopers coming out. It's all like, "We can't go up, sir," or whatever. He's like, "Flank them, you idiot!" And they're all just like trying to like figure out what's going on, even though they're supposed to be like that elite squad of like troopers to go get like the mission accomplished. They're useless.
There are. Every time they come off a ship or something, I don't feel like there's any threat whatsoever.
Well, they always come off the ship, and apparently they have 40 to 50 people on the ship all the time because they just keep coming. But it's always they like come out in like groups of 6.
Yeah.
They're like, "Hey, no, just okay, your turn.
Pick us off.
Okay, your turn to die."
Yeah.
Like why wouldn't you just send them all out?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, it's still good stuff, and the best part about this is, I mean, they get the upper hand. At one point, they have Mando, who luckily has like the greatest armor in the entire galaxy and can just sit there and take the hits, but they're surrounded, man, and it's not till Boba Fett comes and bails them out in the coolest way possible, man.
Yeah.
You guys know when Boba Fett was introduced the first time? It was in the holiday special. You know,
I didn't know that. See, now you're getting
I've watched the holiday special. It is horrific. It is the worst thing you'll ever watch. It makes Wonder Woman 1984 look like I don't know, Goodfellas.
I didn't think we were going to talk about 84 again. That's okay.
But Boba Fett's actually first introduced in that, and he's totally useless in that, and then he's somewhat useless in Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, and everyone's all like, okay, you have like the coolest looking dude in Star Wars, and he does nothing.
Yeah, does nothing. But
he comes back strong in this.
I think he is my favorite. I don't know.
Really?
Do I like him better than Mando? I don't know.
You like him better than Mando?
No, that's just nonsense. What am I talking about?
Yeah. But the true threat finally comes out, and Moff Gideon comes up and shows up in that episode and brings out the Dark Troopers to come and grab Grogu to take him back up to his ship.
With those Dark Troopers, there's some Iron Man callbacks. There's some similar shots of when Tony Stark is first taking his Iron Man suit out. Similar shots with the Dark Trooper, which I think is it's nothing more than a throwback.
Yeah, I think it's just Favreau being Favreau.
He's just having fun with it.
Like,
you know,
he's just saying,
figures.
"Hey, look, I am Lord over Marvel and Star Wars, and I do whatever I want."
I am Disney.
I am Disney,
Yes.
dude. Him and Kevin Feige are definitely like overall.
But that's one thing I like about Favreau is he gave he gave the director time to. Sorry, I don't know what I'm saying. The different episodes, directors in different episodes being able to direct their own Star Wars.
Do their own thing. They're all fans.
Yeah. I think that's really cool of him being able to do that.
Well, in the next episode, what else is super cool is Bill Burr coming from Space Boston, the first Boston accent in all of Star Wars, coming back as Mayfeld. I liked Mayfeld from the first one, from the first season.
Oh, yeah. No, he when I first saw him, I was like, oh my gosh, it's Bill Burr. It's awesome. I mean, it sucks that he betrays Mando at first, but then, I mean, he comes in and...
He's redeemed.
100%. He's what do you want to say? KD coming off the injury this year. The Achilles tear, and now he comes back and he's just shooting lights out. I don't know.
I agree with you. And you know what? I'm going to say it. Bill Burr's character as Mayfeld is way better than Finn from the sequels, man.
Oh my gosh, 100%.
This is how they should have built Finn, dude. Because Finn just went to that one mission at the beginning of Force Awakens and is like, I can't do anything anymore. Right? I'm so scared. I'm gonna leave. Where's Rey? Rey! That's the entire Rise of Skywalker. That's all it is Finn yelling Rey for like 2.5 hours. But at least with Mayfeld's character, he like saw action and he was like disturbed and he like felt the loss of like tens of thousands of people.
Hats off to Bill Burr. That was some great acting.
Fantastic acting.
I was kind of blown away how well he did that scene.
Because he's known for comedy, obviously.
Right.
I love his conversation with Mando when they're just driving together, and he's basically just like, yeah, you think you're right, but so does the Empire, so does the New Republic, everyone thinks that their own way is the right way. He's like, if you want to live by your creed, go for it, but everyone else thinks that they're right also.
Take off his helmet, right? And that's what he has to do for the kid.
Yeah, and that's a big character point, right? Is Mando takes his creed very seriously, and I don't think he would have done it without that speech from Mayfeld.
Because he says when you're in the crap, it's going to come out who what your real priorities are, and obviously to Mando, the kid is his true priority over keeping his creed, which he has kept his whole life.
And this is where we get one of my favorite scenes, and I think season 1 and 2. This it's the same energy. It's very reminiscent of a certain Quentin Tarantino Nazi Germany based film.
It's very glorious. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, it is very glorious. We aren't allowed to say the title of the film, but I'm sure we've dropped enough hints, because in that movie there's a very great intense basement scene where spies are trying to get in the Nazi ranks, right? And essentially this is what's happening here. And it ends the same way too. Total shootout.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, it has to end in a total shootout, right? That's the best way to end it. But I also love that we can introduce to Brown Eyes. Yeah, we call him Brown Eyes.
We call him Brown Eyes. I like that nickname.
He's deaf.
Yeah.
Should we call him Brown Eyes for the rest of the podcast right now? No more Mandalorian. Just call him Brown Eyes.
If I can remember, I'll do it. Yeah.
We're talking Kristen Stewart over here.
Season 3, Brown Eyes.
Season 3, Brown Eyes. No, but this just goes to show you the great writing, the great character development. I don't think I want to see the Mandalorian take his Brown Eyes take his helmet off. Much more, yeah. But the way this episode really ends, and you said this is the best way to end it. I would disagree. The best way to end this episode is with a seismic charge from Slave One.
That was great.
Because let's see what episode. I believe it was episode 2. What is that? Clone Wars? No, not a clone. Attack of the Clones. Gosh dang it! That's when Obi-Wan Kenobi is chasing Jango Fett in the Slave One, and he starts dropping those seismic charges. That's like one of the we talked last week, like redeeming moments, memorable moments in bad films. And in Attack of the Clones, that's the one that always stands out in my mind. Whenever someone brings up Attack of the Clones, I usually always think of that chase. Would you guys agree?
I don't know. Never saw it.
You haven't seen Attack of the Clones?
No,
man?
I haven't. I'm sorry. See, I told you I like Star Wars, but I'm not to your par yet. I'm trying to get there. It takes a while. There's a lot.
There is a lot, but if you haven't seen Attack of the Clones, you're really not missing much, man. Okay. All you have to know is Anakin hates sand. And that's like pretty much it. That's all he talks about for 5 minutes is how much he hates sand. And then he like murders a bunch of sand people. Okay. Really makes him not a redeemable character.
Well, apparently he gets redeemed in the end, so.
But at least, everyone's being redeemed in this episode. Anyways, when we're coming back, we're talking about the fantastic last episode. And if we want to talk fan service, this is where we talk fan service in this episode. This is The Common Critic on the Fed by Ravens Media Network. Welcome back, everyone. This is The Common Critic here on the Fed by Ravens Media Network, wrapping up The Mandalorian Season 2. What a journey it's been. I can't believe we left one episode for the entire last segment. There's a lot to talk about.
There's a lot to talk about. Let's get into it.
I want to jump right into the big thing, but we're going to be good little boys and not jump right into it. It's kind of cool that all the Mandalorians that we know of are essentially coming back together, right? Even Boba Fett, Bo-Katan, I forgot her friend's name. Gosh dang it, but it plays for an interesting dynamic because these are 3 totally different Mandalorians. Boba Fett, who doesn't even consider himself one, and there's an argument to be made, and then Brown Eyes, who's part of the extreme zealots, as Bo-Katan called him, and then Bo-Katan, the leader, the one who comes back. It plays for this interesting dynamic the entire time. You guys agree?
Yeah, it's awesome. What can you tell me? What happened to the guy who was with the 2 girls when?
I don't know. He's probably off somewhere.
Okay, because they just don't mention him anymore. I don't know. They bring those 2 in to come help him, and he's not, even though he was there earlier.
I don't know. Maybe he was in the bathroom and he comes out. He's like, "Where'd my friends go?"
He's just like, "All right.
Oh, well, I guess I'll just go down here and do some other Mandalorian stuff.
Guess I'll just chill out here." Yeah. Protect this place.
But this is kind of a cool plan they kind of get going. I love seeing Slave One, Boba's ship, in action so much when they're chasing down the Doctor. And you kind of get that. You love Cara Dune so much.
I love Cara Dune. She's amazing.
This is kind of a cool scene for her when you get that, Empire guy talking about how much he loved seeing Alderaan blow up, and she just shoots him in a 6 shot.
She's just like, "I'm done with your crap. Here we go."
It's over.
No, she's. I mean, personally, besides Brown Eyes, I think she's my favorite character.
Really,
every episode she's in, or every scene, she's phenomenal on the screen. She's always just. Which is bad, seriously.
I think Dallas likes the ladies.
I do.
I know. Jeez. Well, she is a talented actress, considering where she's come from. She's an MMA fighter, and I don't know about you, but I would imagine that MMA doesn't really transfer too well on screen.
No, not
acting wise.
She does a great job.
I wonder how well Conor McGregor would do in the Star Wars universe.
Oh my gosh, that would be phenomenal.
I don't know what role he'd play.
I don't care. Just have him in there fighting somewhere.
That would be amazing.
That would be amazing. Moff Gideon.
And I think
he played great, Moff Gideon.
Don't even give Conor McGregor lines. Just let him go at it. We're getting off topic. We have to talk about what's going on.
Sorry.
And we talked a little bit on the break. Moff Gideon here is playing 4D chess, right? He activates the Dark Troopers. He is able to get in front of Grogu before anyone else does. He's able to take on Mando and kind of surrender the Darksaber, triggering the fact that, does Mando now rule Mandalore?
Yeah, setting up definitely the next season, I think. is going to be about the black saber and
Dark Saber. Kristen Stewart.
Honestly, I was kind of still waiting for Bo-Katan to like
just take it or
not take it, but like go at him just to try and get it. I thought that was gonna be like the little twist towards the end. You know what I mean?
I'm kind of glad they left it alone, just so. I think that's what the like I said, like.
So we have something for season 3 to go off.
Season 3, yeah. Because
were you guys nervous when Moff Gideon was by Grogu and he activates the Darksaber? Like, did you, at any point in this episode, did you fear for Grogu's life or think that they might kill off any main character?
At that point, I did.
I was worried, yeah.
Yeah, I was worried at that point. And then he, turns it off and says, yeah, you can have him as long as you, and I believed him, to be honest. He's pretty good at that. And then obviously the fight ensues.
Well, what does that say about Mando? Because Mando was all like, I don't care if you get away. I don't care what you do. I just want the kid.
I mean, I think it's he doesn't have any he doesn't hate anyone really. He wants to protect the kid. So that's the only reason he's been going after anybody is for the kid. Everything in his life revolves around that kid at this point.
Yeah. So now what is he gonna do? Now that I don't want. Are we gonna get into it?
Yeah, dude. Let's get into it.
Well,
let's get into it because he finally gets him. There's all that drama with the Dark Saber, but then all the Dark Troopers come back, which they really set up how strong the Dark Troopers are. Because that one, almost kills Brown Eyes, man.
When he's slamming his helmet into the side of the ship,
sketchy.
I was like, he's dead. I thought he was dead.
If he didn't have that, I mean, Beskar apparently is just phenomenal because that's about the only thing that saved him.
He's going to decapitate him.
Oh, dude, that's what I thought for sure. I thought, because there were rumors that Pedro Pascal was done after the season. I was like, no way. No, they don't have the guts to kill him off.
Yeah.
I was worried, dude.
I heard that, and I was kind of thinking that was going to be it, so...
But so they really built up the Dark Troopers well, and that's why you're so scared when they're coming in through the blast doors and they're just stuck there, right? But then that one X-Wing comes. What did you guys think was happening when the one X-Wing comes?
Go ahead, Dennis.
Well, personally, honestly, I kind of thought that the New Republic, because they had gotten wind of it. I thought there was going to be one, and then all of a sudden there was going to be just a bunch jumping out of hyperspace or whatever. They were going to come in and
that's what I thought.
Kind of save everything. Personally, that's what I first thought when
what did you think?
First thing I thought was, what? No. What? No.
That's what I thought on the next scene when they show him walking and it's the cloak character. I'm like, okay.
I'm like,
they're not doing this.
Yeah, I'm like.
And that's the thing I kept thinking. I'm like, I know it's Luke. I know it. But it's not. I don't know it's Luke. It's this weird paradox.
And then the green saber comes out.
And dude, until they show his face, I was like not convinced the first time.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, they show the green saber. I'm like, that could still be someone.
And the force crush and everything like that.
Well, even like the hand, like you see the one hand shown and then the other one gloved.
Yeah.
And I was like,
you didn't want to get your hopes up. Is that what it was, maybe?
I was trying hard, not to. I mean, my hopes were already skyrocketing, but I was trying to stay grounded. And then that glorious hallway scene, very reminiscent of Rogue One.
Yes, almost to the T, it seemed like, to me.
I bet you if you put it side by side, there's very similar moves taken from...
He is his father's son, so...
Which is crazy, because I think that Rogue One scene is the best scene in all Star Wars, with this probably being a close second now.
I would agree with that.
Would you?
I love that. That's the Darth Vader I always wanted to see.
Oh yeah.
Not to rag on the earlier Star Wars, but the Darth Vader was not the Darth Vader I always imagined. And when we got that Rogue One, that was exactly what I was imagining.
Well, if you read the comics, there's this really great example of Darth Vader in the comics where it's essentially like an ambush, and he's on a planet, and the rebels are surrounding him, and there's like 10,000 rebels. And they're all like, you give up, like surrender, like we have you surrounded. And he says, all I see is fear and dead men. And then he just goes at it.
That's what I want to see,
dude. Well, we're going to see that. We're going to see that. That's going to be in the Obi-Wan series. Hayden Christensen is coming back to play Darth Vader, and I think they're going to go Rogue One Vader.
Ooh, that'll be great.
That'd be awesome.
I'm excited for that. Okay, all right.
So going
back. Let's go back.
Yeah, going back to Mandalorian, he goes through this awesome hallway scene, force crush, epic, just lightsaber moves, and he walks in. I'm still not convinced it's him, and he takes it off, and it's young Luke. I thought it was going to be Sebastian Stan. You guys know Sebastian, Winter Soldier.
He needs to play him, but
100%.
Continue on. To be honest with you, I was a little drawn back with the bad CGI.
I thought it was only bad when he started talking. When he first took it, I think all the CGI budget they had for this episode, they put into the initial reveal.
Yeah,
and then once
true.
he starts talking, it's like plastic.
It almost seems like they didn't have enough time to render it correctly.
But I never knock anything for de-aging someone.
Fair enough.
That's tough.
Fair enough, yeah.
You want that character back, bring it back. And it was played by Mark Hamill. If he signs off on it,
You got to go for it. Yeah, you got to do it.
so, yeah. Anyways, and then we got to say goodbye to Grogu, which made my wife cry, and my wife hardly cares about Star Wars in this.
That was a very touching scene.
It made a lot of people cry.
Yeah.
It was tough, and he shows his face, and I'm just sad.
Yeah.
I mean, I shouldn't be sad.
No,
But here's the question, and we're going to be wrapping up soon. I just want to get this one thing. Does Kylo Ren kill Grogu?
Maybe.
All the Jedi die from
maybe.
Kylo Ren.
I hope not.
I guess we'll find out, right?
He's somewhere else.
We'll find out.
Somebody else.
Anyways, that was The Mandalorian Season 2. Follow us on social media. We are on Facebook, Instagram, still working on the Twitter. We're really trying to build up the YouTube channel. You guys want to know something funny? I forgot to record the first half of this podcast on video. So if you guys watch us on YouTube, the first half of this will just
You're welcome. You can just listen to our beautiful voices.
Maybe I'll just have that video of the dancing Boba Fett just on like repeat.
Just repeat for the first 20 minutes.
So what would you rate this, Brandon?
It's a 10 for me. What would you rate it?
I give it a solid 7.8.
All right,
That's a lot lower than I thought. What about you?
I'm going to go about 7.5. I loved it, but
There's just nothing I would change, and that's what I like rated on. Is there anything I would change? No, there's not really anything I could change. Next week we're going over Christopher Nolan's Heat check, Tenet, which
I'm excited to get into it.
yeah, heat's the right word because I think we're really going to get into it. Some of us really like it, some of us don't, and one of us hasn't seen it.
But they will.
So, I mean, I'm excited for that. And you guys got anything to say before we get going?
Thanks for listening.
yeah, thank you guys.
Yeah, check us out on social media. Be sure to subscribe. And yeah, this has been The Common Critic on the Fed by Ravens Media Network.